don't think a USB mic would need a windscreen, would it? Mm-hmm. So that might have something to do with it, because we're using the traditional XLR input mics.
Some of them do.
Some of them do, huh?
Yeah,
That's
some of them do.
Yeah, I don't know why some people stream without a boom mic. I guess I like to pop the microphone. You see that? No effect. No real effect on our listeners.
No effects.
No effects. I remember that band.
It's like when Kev lives his life like Fat Mike. He does.
Fat Kev.
Fat Kev, yeah.
I'm going to go out, have a cigarette, and skate.
He's good, though. I saw Kev a couple weeks ago when we were helping my grandparents.
How's he doing?
He's good. Living married life, all that. Good stuff, though. I'm happy for him,
Good copy, sir.
Yeah, man. So
we got one beefcake of an agenda.
Yeah, we do.
Our agenda looks like the lead vocalist from Harm's Way.
True. This is true. Oh, yeah. Oh, shit. I should probably get that thing pulled up so I don't have to have you wait for
An eternity.
Yeah, an extended period of time, but we'll wait.
We'll wait. I think this is the longest pre-roll we've had in quite some time.
That's definitely not true. We've definitely had longer ones, historically at least.
Huh.
Oh, yeah, but just trying to make sure everything sounds good on this end.
Woo. You just going to woo into the mic?
Yeah, a little bit.
Is that your new thing?
Sure. I think this is appropriate length away from my face. All right, Gabe, are you ready?
Oh, yeah.
What is going on, guys? Welcome to the SStTitD Kids podcast, episode number 128.
128. Can you imagine that?
For the record, Gabe, when you were talking, when my intro was playing, I couldn't hear a word that was coming out of your mouth.
I wasn't saying a damn thing.
I sound like you were saying stuff.
No.
Oh, okay.
Makes imagining things
Oh,
here, man.
Oh, man. But yeah, we are back on a cloudy, decently warm day on the south side of Chicago, Illinois. I like how I incorporated the weather, like people can experience that with me.
Hi, it's Tom Skillet on the SStTitD Kids podcast. Or Skilling or whatever.
Tom Skilling, yeah.
I like Tom Skillet better.
Tom Skillet.
Hey, what's in this skillet?
Yeah.
Some weatherman.
Oh, yeah. But we are back for another episode of the SStTitD Kids podcast.
128.
Yeah.
128.
Yeah. As usual, per usual.
It's a cloudy day on this. You see, you fucked up this whole order.
I didn't fuck it up.
Here, I got you. I'll say this. How was your week?
Oh, my week is all right. Yeah, it's just all right. I don't want to get into it.
No.
I'm just tired.
A little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Yeah, I'm just a little tired right now.
Yeah, man. Well, it's good to enjoy that rest days. Those weekends is good,
True.
Good stuff.
How was your week?
My week was it was actually pretty all right. Started off kind of slow. I put some topics on here because I finally got around to stuff that I've been meaning to get around to, and we're going to talk about them today. But I did see a movie last night. I did finish a game last night. What else did we do? Maddie and I went to that Blue Nose Brewery thing, their 7-year anniversary. So that was fun.
Okay.
And she tweeted the other day, she's like, your regulars when the employees give you the friends and family discount. And I was like, yeah, I don't think I've been charged full price for a beer in quite some time.
I wouldn't admit that out loud. Maybe the executives at
redacted.
Blue Nose. All right.
But yeah, man, it was fun. They had some food trucks there. Did you know that Cheesy's has a food truck? I didn't know that until
Cheesy
today.
started as a food truck.
Huh.
Yeah,
more you know, I guess.
Cheesy started as a food truck. Did you hear about the whole thing on LaGrange? Did we talk about that on the podcast?
What happened on LaGrange? How they removed Cheesy's?
Yeah,
well, because we went today, we were meaning to go to Cheesy's.
Yeah.
And I see some place called Mac.
Yeah.
M-A-K. Get your fucking Euro spelling out here.
Well, what happened with that is that I guess the owners of the location changed the name without asking Cheesy's.
Okay.
So Cheesy's like, no, can't do that. That's our shit. We don't want nothing to do with you anymore, so you can't use our recipes or none of that. But so I know that's like similar, but not quite.
Well, here's my thing, right? Because we went in, and some of the things are relatively the same.
Yeah.
But they have like full-fledged meals. Well, I guess not grilled cheese, like they have burgers and stuff now, which is fine. But like I went in there specifically to get my fucking El Jefe grilled cheese, and it's not even on the whiteboard anymore. Yeah. What is this trash? So I looked at Manny. I was like, I don't want anything from here. We're going somewhere else.
Yeah. So like I said, they franchised. That was the first attempt at franchising off the Cheesy's name, and apparently didn't work out. So I don't see them doing that again anytime soon.
Okay, because here's the big issue, right? You have a place up in Wisconsin and some northern Illinois spots called Max. It's short. It's an acronym. It's short for Macaroni and Cheese Shop. MACS, Max. Mm-hmm. And they make the best booming goddamn macaroni and cheese bowl you could imagine. I had crushed Fritos on mine when we went last time. It's just, man, you pull up a menu guide right now, we're going to get hungry.
Hold on. Let's do it then. Hold on.
Let's pull up a menu guide, man. Let's rock and roll.
Yeah, because we don't got nothing on the notes, so we got all the time in the world to talk about.
We're going to do some impromptu notes for you here.
You said macaroni and cheese shop, right?
Just put MACS menu.
MACS menu.
We're about to make Jacob real hungry.
Yeah, you probably are. Let's see what happens though. Hold on.
I just want to say for the record that my girlfriend made lobster mac and cheese on Friday, and that was banging.
Okay.
That was real good.
So they got the original, which looks like a macaroni and cheese. Let's see what the Mama's Mac cheddar, mozzarella, grilled hot dog. That's interesting.
Cool.
That's interesting. Loaded baked potato, macaroni cheese, cheddar, mozzarella, baked potato, bacon, sour cream, chives.
Awesome. Love
Good.
chives.
That sounds good. Popeye. Hold on. Which is the more healthier option, looks like.
Fuck that.
About as healthier as it gets.
Grease me up and set me free.
Provolone, mozzarella, saute, onions, mushrooms, and spinach. So, okay. Jalapeno popper, macaroni and cheese. This is jalapeno, mozzarella, jalapenos, bacon, cream, and cream cheese. Oh, wow. Holy shit. Okay. Hangover mac. This is pepper jack, which is my shit.
I love pepper jack.
Mozzarella, hash browns, bacon, grilled hot dog, sauteed green peppers, onions, and mushrooms, and sriracha.
I love sriracha.
Okay. This is getting fun. Okay. Chicken bacon ranch. They should sponsor us. Cheddar, mozzarella. I don't know why I keep on saying it like that.
Mozzarella.
Chicken, bacon, and ranch. Okay. Ooh, cheeseburger mac. I'm jumping to that one.
You jumping the gun.
Cheddar, mozzarella, ground beef, pickles, Thousand Island dressing. Interesting.
I'm telling you, man, if you're ever up in the Dells, you gotta hit Max, because this place is the shit.
Interesting. Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, man. See, just reading off that, now you're craving for some nice warm Kraft mac and cheese.
Yeah, I could do that. That sounds good.
Good stuff.
Interesting. All right. Yeah. So we have like Gabe had mentioned prior, a Fat Boy agenda. Not super crazy, but there's stuff in here for sure. Let's go ahead and get started. So Disney Plus, right? Announced a bundle. They're gonna be
bundle.
Yeah, they're gonna be bundling Disney Plus with Hulu as well as ESPN Plus
for $12.
Yeah, for $12.99, so $13 technically. But
that's crazy.
That's epic.
What? ESPN for $13?
Yeah.
Where?
Yeah.
Nowhere.
Yeah.
Disney.
Yeah.
That's where.
Yeah.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, because, all right, the Hulu deal was already off the bat kind of good, because Hulu's been known for kind of, like bundling stuff. Like I have Hulu via Spotify, right? Mm-hmm. And if you have those two, you get Showtime on top of that for free.
Oh.
So it's like all this cool bundling stuff. But now they're like, hey, man, let's just make Disney an obvious choice.
Yeah. So the reason why, well, outside of the fact that it's a good idea, and like you said, Hulu tends to bundle with things. Apparently, the ESPN subscription service wasn't doing like great, so they said, "Fuck it, let's get some users and add it onto the Disney Plus," because obviously Disney owns ESPN because they own everything. So they decided to tag it along, and I told my wife, I'm like, "Yeah, let's do it."
All the games right there for you.
Yeah, I'm all over it. Yeah, I mean, I could
shit. If we could
Barnes Center all day,
get like wrestling into ESPN, that'd make our lives all the better. Right?
Yeah. They got some stuff going on in the works for Fox because they just got a Fat Boy deal, but we're not gonna get into that.
Speaking about Fox, actually, we are about to get into that. So since Disney acquired Fox, they're remaking 4 of these kind of bigger Fox movies that I mentioned to you briefly.
Okay.
We're getting a Home Alone remake.
Yep.
Macaulay Culkin tweeted about that. It was pretty funny.
Is he going to be involved or no?
No, I don't think he's going to be involved. But he's like, if Home Alone was remade today, and he's like all fat and stuff, and he's on this computer, and I don't know. I thought it was funny.
All right.
Cheaper by the dozen. Interesting choice.
I like that.
Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
Okay.
Which I don't particularly care for.
Uh-huh.
And then Night at the Museum. Ooh, I got some mixed opinions about this one.
About Night at the Museum?
Not the movie itself. I enjoyed the movie. I thought the movie was fun.
But I'm saying
about
remake.
the remake.
Yeah.
I love Ben Stiller.
Okay.
I think he did a phenomenal job.
I think the Night at the Museum premise leans itself on being like an educational program.
Totally. I could also see it being an animated series.
I can see that too.
As opposed to, would they get 3 movies out of it before Disney bought them? 2 for sure, maybe 3.
Yeah.
Sure. And I could see it becoming like an animated series, and they could, toss in the educational stuff with that.
Yeah, because you could easily break it down like, well, this is what we're talking about this week, kind of like the Magic School Bus kind of situation.
Choo choo.
Yep. So I'm with that. I like Cheaper by the Dozen. I think that's going to be interesting. I like the movies. The movies are fun. I'm not really particularly mad about any of these.
See, Home Alone, I thought Home Alone was going to be that weird kind of sacred ground, but I guess the general consensus is, yeah, do it.
Yeah, I mean...
it's just a Die Hard remake, but all right.
Yeah. I don't think it's quite there. I don't think it's quite there.
Approaching, but not quite.
Yeah, I don't really... we all...
Well, because everybody's seen Home Alone. Home Alone is something you watch with your parents when you were like 8 years old, and everybody enjoyed the experience.
And you fucking crack up hysterically.
Yeah, right? Everybody's on the couch enjoying some leftovers or some shit in the middle of winter, and we're all just chuckling, right? That's what Home Alone was to most of us.
Yeah, for sure.
And I don't know, man. I'm not opposed to a remake, but I just thought that people would be like, what the fuck?
Be up in arms about it.
But I guess people are all on board.
Well, it's one of those things. Like, it's just one of those weird things. Like,
well, it's one of those weird things where when people feed you shit for so long, at one point you go, this is some tasty shit. I'm talking about all the remakes that have... I'm sorry, that went too far.
That was a little
But, no, I mean, yeah, I guess we'll see. I'm excited to see where this goes. And I was thinking you and I should make a list of Fox movies that they should remake. And we're going to not include X-Men or Fantastic Four because those are obvious cheap shots right there, low-hanging fruit.
True.
So we're going to go through some Fox movies this next coming week, and we're going to come up with some stuff that they should remake.
Okay, we could do that.
Yeah, that should be fun.
For sure.
What do we got next? We got Smallville Crisis.
So, Crisis on Infinite Earth is going to be like a TV series, right? Because obviously with the whole Arrowverse and the DC universe and all that, and all the TV shows doing relatively well, they decided that they're going to do the Crisis on Infinite Earth thing, right? With that, they're going to bring back some of the characters from Smallville and having it all be kind of connected in their own little weird way. So I just thought it was something that was interesting because they approached the guy who played Lex Luthor on the show, and apparently they're like in works of getting him back and all that good stuff. So I was just wondering what your opinion on the matter. Did you watch Smallville?
I saw bits and pieces. I never like fully committed to it, but that's fun. I think it's about time we came back around to Smallville because that was kind of a big deal back in the day. Yeah,
it's funny because I remember I liked Smallville, or I've heard of Smallville, I should say, prior, but I had no idea it had anything to do with Superman. I just thought it was one of those silly
those WB or CW fucking shows,
like a Seventh Heaven or something like that.
Vampire Diaries.
Yeah.
That's
why I originally thought I had like zero idea that had anything to do with it.
I mean, I guess it worked, right?
Yeah,
I guess that was the marketing strategy towards it.
Yeah, they're kind of just leaning on the whole Superman thing and not quite going full
Full
bore with it.
We got some Serkis news, and by Serkis I mean Andy Serkis.
Serkis.
So when you put this on here, I originally looked at it and I was like, doesn't he mean that Andy Serkis is going to do the animation for Venom? And then I saw the article and I was like, oh shit, Andy Serkis is directing Venom 2.
Yes, sir. Directing Venom 2. And I think that's kind of awesome. Has he done a directing role yet?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I mean, I think if anybody would get a chance to do it, I mean,
he's been on all these great fucking films.
Well, that was actually an article. Hold on. Whoops. Sorry. Let me get this pulled up. Filmography. Andy Serkis filmography. Film. Moving and grooving. Nothing yet.
I think this might be his directorial debut.
This might be it. Yes. This is...
What a movie to start off
on. Mowgli. Mowgli.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he also, director. Oh, actually, no. Hold on. Breathe. He did that. That starred Andrew Garfield. But other than that, it looks like he's got about 3 films under his belt right now. This being the 3rd.
Cool. Should be fun. Andy Serkis is a dude we like on this podcast.
Yep.
And Venom, the first Venom movie wasn't that bad.
I didn't see it.
It missed some dazzle, some razzle, but overall the ingredients were there. Solid foundation.
My wife didn't seem to hate it. She watched it.
It wasn't a bad movie, but it wasn't a great movie.
Yeah, she didn't seem to like it too much. I think it's kind of interesting that they got like this own side universe for Spider-Man villains and characters. When
Spider-Man was Stan Lee's baby, what do you think was going to happen?
No, I know, but I'm saying like as far as like having this old side universe that's not connected to
the big MCU.
Yeah, to the main canon, and they got this thing.
Well, hey man, maybe we'll get a Tom Holland and who's the dude, Ed Hardy? Not Ed Hardy. Tom Hardy. I'm sorry. Ed Hardy is the guy with all the t-shirts. Yeah, maybe we'll get a Tom Hardy, Tom Holland crossover with Venom Spider-Man.
I wouldn't hate that.
That's not a bad idea, actually.
Did I tell you that I watched The Amazing Spider-Man 2 the other day for like the first time?
With Andrew Garfield?
Yeah, all the way through.
No.
Did I tell you I watched that? I hated it. It was horrible.
Have you seen? Yeah, you have. I was gonna say Hacksaw Ridge.
Yeah.
I was. My point being that it's not Andrew Garfield.
No, I know. No, I'm not blaming him.
He's a good actor.
I
Man.
mean, they had Emma Stone in there too. I mean, it's just the shit. The writing was
Whack.
Yeah, it sucked.
Moving on to our next point, we have working on Havana Nocturne. What is this?
So this is a book that I'm actually just started.
Oh,
Literally
wow, Jake's reading again.
Well, it's an audio book. I'm not reading it. But basically I wanted to break down the premise to you and wanted to know if you were interested in it. So basically this is talking about, and this is a real life story, taking real life stories for people who are actually involved in the Cuban mob during the revolution in the 1950s. Basically breaking down everybody's life story and how the mob contributed to the whole entire thing, how they were involved. There's also a sequel to this book written by the same guy called The Corporation, which is the Cuban mob when they came to America and how they took over the New York, Miami kind of area and how that all worked out and the rise to power and all that.
Yeah, buddy. If you like that stuff, you got to sit down and watch Cocaine Cowboys. It's on Hulu.
Yeah?
That, dude, wild fucking ride.
Yeah?
I got that from Joe Rogan.
Okay.
And me and Maddie watched it, and we were like, what the fuck? If you like that stuff, sit down and watch Cocaine Cowboys immediately after this.
I'm going to have to do that then. But yeah, I just wanted to put that on there because I'm going to keep you guys updated.
How's the audiobook experience, man? I know a lot of these kind of gatekeeping readers are like, bro, you're not really reading. Fuck that.
Yeah.
I enjoy an audiobook. Is this your first one?
No, I did Devil in the White City, an audiobook.
How's the narrator?
For that one?
Yeah.
He was good. He was good because I think there's an art to that. You know?
Yeah, you got to have a good speaking voice.
A good voice, yeah, a good voice for her. And he did a great job with that. But I'm kind of looking forward to this whole audiobook thing because it's something that I pick up better if I'm listening, not so much reading. Because I cannot tell you how many books I've read in my life where I'm like, I find myself like kind of stuck on stupid and I keep on reading the same paragraph over and
it
over
just
again.
goes away, right?
Yeah,
like you read it and it's immediately
you're
gone.
like, okay, focus. You know what I mean? I think I pick it up better even if I'm just listening to it as a background and doing other things. I pick it up better than
sure,
just
man. Some of us are auditory learners and others are sensory learners.
That's me. I'm the
Good
auditory
stuff,
guy.
man. So I'm glad you're enjoying it. Was it an expensive audiobook? Because I know some of these get pricey. No,
It's free on YouTube right now.
Oh,
Yeah, so I'm trying to get through it as quickly as possible before it gets pulled down.
Good copy.
So I'll let you, like I said, I'm just gonna let you guys know that I'm working on it, and I do plan on bringing a review relatively soon.
Yeah, we need more book reviews on this podcast.
Yeah, the thing about books is that they're so time consuming, and
we got so many other things that are time consuming.
Yeah, and like you can watch a movie in 2 hours, and you can have an opinion on it or whatever. It may
I mean,
be.
essentially, ideally, we'd have a couple days before we even do the full movie review, right?
Yeah,
and so you got some time to think upon it because how many times have you finished something and you're like, I don't know how I feel about this yet. I gotta sleep.
Yeah, definitely. Books are kind of hard to do that, but I do want to read more books. I feel like I'm.
Yeah, man. Speaking about,
losing
I don't know
brain
how I
cells.
feel about this. Let's transition into Toy Story 4. So you got around to it.
I did.
What'd you think?
I finally watched it last night, and this is going to be a spoiler-rific review because
you're like 2 months late.
Yeah.
So if you haven't seen it now, you probably don't care.
Yeah. So I saw Toy Story 4 last night.
It was good.
I really did like it quite a bit.
It was proper.
I definitely.
I would probably. Well, I don't think there's any way you're gonna beat Toy Story 1 and 2. I think it comes really close. What is your order? You're what?
From Best Toy Story movies?
Yeah.
3, 1, 2.
3, 1, 2, huh? Okay. See, because I've seen some other opinions, but I guess that's the beauty of Toy Story, right?
Yeah.
I'd put this towards the higher end. I don't know if I'd call it my favorite one.
Yeah.
But it's definitely up there for me.
Yeah. I just love the story that they decided to tell. I also told Adriana last night, I'm like, this is kind of like an epilogue to the whole Toy Story kind of story. Because if you wanted it to be a trilogy, it could definitely service that. And if you want to watch this kind of like an add-on, a DLC, if you will.
Yeah, it's Toy Story 3 Part 2.
Yeah, I'd kind of like that. You know what I mean? Because the first 3 were mapped out in such a beautiful way. And not to say this one wasn't. But like I said, you could walk away happy if you just watched the 3. But what this movie brought to the table was a story, like a character study on Woody.
Yeah.
Kind of about how
he's a broken fucking toy.
Yeah, how he feels. You know what I mean? Like, because obviously, when we met Woody originally, he was kind of the crazy, jealous kind of guy. But after that, we kind of got past that and kind of made it focus more on the adventure aspect of the stories that they were telling, right? But now that Woody's he lost his first kid, he's done with his first kid, and he's kind of coming across this thing where he starts to feel like he's losing purpose. And he loves Bonnie, but he doesn't have that same kind of connection that he did with Andy. And he did a Freudian slip a handful of times when he kept on calling Bonnie Andy. And everybody's like, Oh no. And it kind of discusses what Woody as a person or as a being cares about. Because there was the opening scene was tremendously powerful when Bo Peep was being taken away. Looked like they found a buyer for her lamp or whatever, and they took her away. And Woody was going to hop in, but he stopped.
He didn't. Andy was the only thing stopping him. Yep.
Yeah, he stopped himself because Andy was preventing him, and Bo Peep understood that. So, and then they kind of kick off this whole kind of crazy adventure, and they're going on a road trip. Bonnie's going to first grade or kindergarten, and she needs like a support, but the toys, and Woody's doing what he does best, which is kind of putting his kid first. And Bonnie didn't even really notice that he was there the whole time.
Yep.
It was almost like he was a ghost. It was almost like he was like Bruce Willis's character from The Sixth Sense, where like,
jeez, yeah,
where like nobody really noticed that he was there, or Bonnie didn't really notice that he was there. Kind of like the wife.
That's a good way of putting it.
Actually, that's pretty good. Actually, yeah. But he was kind of pulling the strings and trying to help this Forky, come to a level of understanding about his existence.
His trash.
Yeah, he's like, trash. He's like, no, toy. Trash. And he's like trying to run through the trash the whole time. And he eventually kind of embraces the idea of being a toy. And like just the whole relationship with Bo Peep I thought was tremendously interesting.
Yeah, Bo Peep got some cake in this film, huh?
Yeah. So they kind of told Bo Peep's story, how she's kind of like this renegade. She's like, free toy. I'm a free toy. No, don't need a purpose from a child because I find my own and does her own thing, lives her own life, travels the world or whatever, travels the areas or whatever. And that's good stuff, man. Those fucking those ventriloquist dummies are fucking terrifying. They scared me. There was like 3 legitimately jump scared moments in this movie. The first one was when Forky first came alive. I jumped out of my seat, bro. That shit fucking scared the shit out of me. And then when one of the ventriloquist dummies like fell out of the sky, oh, God. And
good stuff.
And they don't have any like support because they're so used to having somebody's hand up their ass. So they were like all floppy and intimidating. And
what'd you rate the movie? How do you rate movies again? 8F.
Yeah. It's an A.
It's an A?
It's
yeah,
an
I think
A.
I gave it a B+ for me.
Yeah.
Did you cry?
Yeah.
I didn't cry.
The ending got me real good.
I think I was the only one in the theater that didn't cry, and I felt like an asshole.
Well, I mean, that's fair enough. To me, did you cry at the end of 3?
No.
Oh, okay, so you just don't feel it then.
Yeah, I haven't really felt much since my hamster died.
So yeah, that whole when he handed the badge to Jessie, that was like such a nice moment. Like he handed the sheriff badge to her.
Where do you rank it amongst the Toy Stories? 3, 4, 1, 2. 3, 1, 4, 2.
Probably 3. I don't even. I think it. I think it might be at the bottom.
Okay.
But when you're ranking great movies, doesn't really.
Don't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
Because they're not bad movies. You just have a favorite.
Yeah. Because there's not a bad Toy Story movie. It just doesn't exist. All of them are great in their own right, and they all bring different things to the table. But as far as what I think a more interesting question for me would be where does it fall in the Pixar lineup? Like all the Pixar movies.
Yeah.
But that's something I would have to look at and dissect.
Cool.
So, but I enjoyed it quite a bit. It made me cry, and I think at this point I got to say that they shouldn't do it anymore.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I think with the way that they've all kind of went about their separate ways, and Woody's not part of the gang, which is really upsetting to me. You know what I mean?
How are you gonna have a Toy Story without Woody?
Yeah, and I mean, I think they could still do shorts and stuff like that, but I don't.
Wouldn't be the same.
Yeah, I really don't want a full blown story unless there's like a really good reason. But I have a hard time kind of finding a reason to have them all kind of reunite and kind of be unrealistic.
Sure. Now we could finally have Tom Hanks as Darth Vader since he's not tied up with Toy Story.
Yeah, that's what was keeping him away. But yeah, I enjoyed it quite a bit. And if you're a fan of the franchise, see it. Me and my wife loved it. We had a good time.
Maybe they'll come out with a cool box set now that they're done, quote unquote.
Yeah, I think that. Honestly, I think this
a nice
is
toy box set.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Do you know they sell that Forky for like $30?
Jeez.
Yeah, I looked on Target. I'm like, let me see, because I want to do Kaboom like really fucking bad.
Kaboom was great.
Yeah, Kaboom was fucking fantastic. I love him, but they're selling him for like 15 or 20, like almost looks like a McDonald's toy almost. And Forky was like an action figure for like $30. I'm like, I can make a Forky. What the
For
fuck?
like 30 cents.
Yeah, what the fuck you doing? But yeah, so I enjoyed the movie, and I'm sad and happy to see it end.
Bittersweet.
Yep.
Ending to the series. Good stuff. So I also saw a movie last night in a very different vein. I saw Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. I was getting my hair cut yesterday, and the barber lady was like, oh, blah, 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 because she's like a movie person. We were talking about the Tarantinos and stuff.
Yeah.
And then she was like, oh, yeah, I'm going to go see Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. And I was like, oh, shit, that came out. So me and Maddie went to go see it. Holy shit, is this movie terrifying. This movie does not fuck around one bit. And I texted you this the other day, but, dude, I think I came out of that theater like 2 shades paler. It is genuinely terrifying in every sense of the word. First of all, it's rated PG-13, which really kind of blew my socks off, where I was like, wow, I can't even remember the last time a PG-13 movie scared me this well. Was Sinister PG-13? No, that was rated R, right? When was the last time a PG-13 movie scared you? Like, genuinely scared you?
Oh, man.
Because I couldn't think of one, man. I think this might be the first.
PG-13 horror movie.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, now you have this weird kind of anomaly.
Oh, man. I can't even tell you. I can't even tell you for PG-13.
There you go, man. First of all, if you've read the books in your youth, don't go in this movie expecting that every one of them is going to come true. There's 6, quote unquote 7. So there's 7 if you're counting one little thing that happens. But they go through 7 of the kind of bigger stories and how it unravels. I want to touch on, we kind of said that it was an interesting way that they're intertwining all these stories, because they're separate short stories. I thought that worked really well.
Okay.
These characters are likable, they're believable, and they work in this kind of weird abstract where we need something to connect everyone. Okay. And it works actually pretty damn well. The monsters. We need Guillermo del Toro doing nothing but horror movies till the day he retires. These were terrifying. They were interesting. They were grotesque. And they were nightmare fuel. I think that's the best way I could put it.
Okay.
They were so well done. And, oh, man, it's just fucking terrifying, some of these things. But you got to sit down and watch it, man.
Interesting.
Because this movie was a good movie. I really do enjoy it. And then on top of that, they made a fucking great horror movie without a shitload of jump scares, without overuse of blood, without guts,
Gore.
without... It's a genuinely terrifying film. And some of these moments in the film are like different flavors of horror. So it's that horror. There's a scene where it's this horror where you see the monster, but they're not going to jump out or scream at you. It's just that monster's getting closer. And every time our character looks down the hall, they're closer and closer and closer. And then he goes to a different like section of the hallway, and every way he looks, the monster is there at the end of the hall every single time, being closer. And so it's not a matter of is it going to get you? It's a matter of when.
I had nightmares about that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brutal, man. Fucking. I don't want to give away too much, because
Okay.
I do think you should see something like this in theaters.
I'm gonna try.
It is properly good. And then I want to touch a little bit on something, because, well, when you think horror movies, you think Halloween, right?
Yeah.
I think this was a good kickoff to the horror season that we're gonna have this year, because it's August. Yeah. But the times are starting to change.
Well, I think it's cool I think it's okay for the following reason, because it's a horror movie for children, let's say.
Yeah, don't bring your kid to this.
No, I'm saying, but that's what it's meant to do, right? It's meant to be horror movie for kids. Kids are still out of school. Summer, is still going.
Sure.
So this is a good, like you said, kind of a good start to the Halloween season, or to the fall season, because kids are still out there and they're going to go to see this movie because it's awesome. It has the nostalgia. Obviously, people like you and me will go see it too. I think it's an appropriate time for this particular horror film to come out, and I'm okay with that. I'm interested in this, man. And I know I've brought this up on the last several podcasts when it comes to like things that we've been talking about for a long extended period of time finally coming to fruition. Mm-hmm. And this is one of them. We've talked about that when we were doing the show in Adam's house, for crying out loud. You know what I mean? Like, I'm kind of glad to see all these stories finally have a nice little cap to the end of it.
Yeah. Seriously though, check it out. It was worth every single penny. And man, that was a good horror.
Do you ever talk to Maddie after we do the podcast about what her and Adriana talk about.
A little bit.
Essentially they talk about the same things that we talk about when
Yeah, just from different perspectives.
Yeah. So we should mic up that room one time and see how it works out and see if they could run their own podcast. I think that'd be kind of interesting. But yeah, it's something that I'm interested in. I want to check out coming down the pipeline for sure. Because I'm chipping off things that I wanted to see. Right, I'm starting to knock them down slowly. I re-upped my Stubbs card finally.
Nice.
So I'm like, all right. I'm like, this is a commitment. I'm gonna try to see more movies this year. Elisana's getting a little bit older. She's not a handful anymore. So maybe.
Oh man, there was a point in that movie where everything went kind of quiet, and the movie's still rolling, and the whole audience is silence, and you hear, "Mommy." Like, who brings their little girl to see this? I was terrified, and I'm a grown-ass man.
I like that. That's funny. That's a good story. But so how would you rate it?
Ooh, man, I gotta give it like that A- tier, man. It was really good.
Okay,
it was proper, and like I said, they don't abuse these stupid horror movie tropes. It's terrifying. I think it'll cover like 90% of your terrifying flavors out there.
That's
and
cool.
your kind of horror flavors. Because not everything is a jump scare. Not everything is this kind of blood and guts wrenching thing. Not everything is a complicated story. It's just horror boiled down into what makes it scary. And I think if you're afraid of something, this movie will bring it up.
Okay. That's cool. I like that. All right. So
Let's talk some gaming.
So I put this at the top of the agenda because obviously...
Yeah, we got to talk about this because we cover a lot of gaming on this podcast.
Yeah, and we've had multiple shootings in the last couple of weeks. And I know me and Gabe, generally speaking, stray away from these type of topics because...
We're not a political podcast.
We are not a political podcast.
We are a gaming podcast.
Yeah. And this has brought up the age-old tales that violence in video games causes people to do stupid things. And I'm going to preface this by saying, and I've talked about it many times on the podcast, that I've been playing violent video games my whole entire life. I've been listening to violent music my whole entire life. Never once have I felt compelled to kill somebody. Okay. And just this whole thing where people, from, let's say, less educated states, senators trying to blame violent video games on, for these violent acts, I think is hysterical. Because I play a lot of Madden too. Does that mean I could be a quarterback? No.
Maybe a quarter pounder.
Oh shit! Sorry.
I don't know why we use windscreens. Not like we pick.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. Okay. Yeah, maybe a quarter pounder, maybe. But I play a lot of baseball games. Does that mean I could throw a fucking circle of change that breaks? Fucking no. These things are not equal. And I just felt the need to bring it up because it upsets me that people are trying to impede on my right to play violent video games. And I just find it hysterical because I saw an article that coincided with this where a Walmart has decided to stop displaying violent video games. Meanwhile, that same Walmart is still selling guns. Mm-hmm. And I just think it's tremendously ironic,
funny, unfortunate, sad.
Yeah. All those things are...
Welcome to 2019, my friend.
Yeah.
And I don't want to get too deep into this because we're not a political podcast, and I think there's no kind of merit to the point that they're making or trying to make here. But if you really didn't want your kids playing violent video games, look at the fucking ESRB rating. The M rating is on there for a reason.
Yeah.
And they list everything out on the back. And I know I'm becoming the parent that I told myself I wasn't going to become, right?
Yeah.
But... really, if it was that big of a deal, look at the ESRB rating.
That's why it was created, right? That's why ESRB was created because...
Also Ed Boon.
Well, yeah. Because people felt games were going too far, and they might have been right to a certain extent. I think something like the ESRB was necessary, and that's why they created it.
I mean, it's a matter of a quick glance on the box.
It's the first thing you see on the box.
And if you want to know what else is on there, you flip it around, and it'll tell you exactly what's in there.
Yeah. I'm sorry, you can't tell me because the person who did or people who did these violent things are adults. You cannot tell me that an adult is that impressionable. You can't. You know what I mean? Like, again, I've been playing these things my whole entire life. I've never once been compelled to kill somebody. So, where's the line?
Pack it up. I think this topic's wrapped, and I think we said all we need to say.
Yeah,
because it's ridiculous at the end of it. Like, what are you gonna add in addition,
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to spread the wildfire.
Yeah, I don't know.
But, I remember how I said a Walmart was given kind of discounts on games on the day of drop. So I have a shitload of fucking Best Buy points out of the blue. They're like, hey, you have like $75 in Best Buy points.
Holy shit.
And so I'm like, oh, fuck.
Don't those expire too?
Yeah.
So where'd you get them from?
They were just kind of racking up. And then my dad bought a new phone. So I was like, hey, let me put it on my Best Buy card. You could just give me cash for it. And so, yeah. So I just been kind of accruing all these points. And I was like, fuck, I got to spend it on something. So for certain more mainstream titles,
how often do you go to Best Buy?
well, I have the credit card, so I'll put like gas on there and stuff. And well, if you know how to use a credit card, you're gonna take advantage of the stuff, right? Anyway, the point I'm getting at here is that for certain mainstream titles, Best Buy is offering a $10 e-certificate if you pre-order with them. Interesting, huh? And I looked at it, and I pre-ordered the new Yu-Gi-Oh game coming out because I want to get back into the TCG thing because I do miss the format. I don't miss buying the packs and this and that, whatever, right? But they gave me $10 off.
No pre-orders, Gabe.
Well, this is a game that's really gonna be. There's no super shady practices. Yeah, you're right. No pre-orders, but I got $10 off, so whatever. It came out to like $30, whatever. It wasn't even a full-priced game.
No pre-orders, Gabe.
But that being said, what do you think, man? I think some of these companies like Walmart and now Best Buy has thrown their hat in the ring.
Well, Best Buy was like my shit because they had the Gamers Club, and the Gamers Club was like grade A awesome because you pay for your membership of the Gamers Club, and every game you get would be come at a discounted rate, like $10 off, which is awesome. And you pay maybe $100 a year or something like that. And if you're buying a handful of games throughout the year, it's worth it. You get discount on accessories and all those things. And it's fucking worth it to me. But unfortunately, they got rid of that because, of course, they did. Yeah, man, I'm glad. I mean, because I think everybody kind of sees the writing on the wall with the GameStop kind of coming and going and kind of dying. I think somebody's going to try to step up and be that new, well, if you're a gamer,
game retailer,
come here, and, you know, those type of things and all that. But yeah, man, I mean, I'm with it. I like Best Buy, and Best Buy's never been particularly shitty to me.
Yeah, they've never been terrible to me. I've had some things where it was like, oh, okay, but nothing like spit in your face kind of bad.
Yeah, I mean, Walmart's been kind of shitty a couple times.
I mean, that's to be expected.
Target to a lesser extent, but Best Buy never been particularly shitty to me. So I'm not mad at them. I remember, and this is part of the dealio. I remember every year for my birthday, we'd always go to the Olive Garden in Burbank, and I would always go there for one reason.
Because Best Buy was across the street.
Best Buy was across the street, and I was going to get myself a new game every single year.
Nice.
Up until
Unlimited breadsticks and a new game?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. That's a birthday.
I'm all over it. I remember okay, I'm going to toss this out. What is the best birthday gift you've given to yourself? So maybe like you go to like a situation like that where maybe you and your family would go out and they'd be like, okay, you can go to Toys R Us and pick out a toy or something like that. Technically, they bought it for you, but you picked it out. What is the best gift that you could think of?
Yeah, I don't know.
Offhand.
Off the top of my head. I really don't know, man. I really don't know. The one year, I was telling my buddies, I really like this. Nixon did a crossover with Star Wars and did a really cool Boba Fett watch. Mm-hmm. And it was like $500. And I was like, I'm not going to fucking get it for myself because I don't have that kind of money. And so everybody pitched in and got me that.
That was nice of them.
Yeah, but I don't want to say it was something I picked out, but it was definitely something I kind of set in motion for them.
Okay.
If that makes sense. So I think that one would probably
inspired them to do.
Yeah.
For me, because again, just relaying it to what I just said, I had Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks bought for me on my birthday that year.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to top that one. Unless they come out with an HD remake that you can make Adriana by you.
Yeah. I went home and played it like immediately. I was like giddy about it. And that was before I could buy myself my own mature games and all that. So it was awesome. I remember the first time that I went to a fucking GameStop and I bought myself my own mature game. I'm like, yeah, here's my ID, cocksucker.
ID me. And then nobody ever IDs you ever again.
Yeah.
It's like, damn it.
I remember, where did we go? We went to the Sox game. And they didn't card me. I'm like, do I look that fucking old? I mean, I guess I do.
It'd be like that now.
Yeah, fuck.
They really do, man.
Fuck.
It's bad when the people at Jewel don't ID you. When they have the little thing where it's like, we ID anybody under 40.
Yeah.
Like, oh, man, y'all just insulted me now. So, yeah, Best Buy pre-orders. Check those out. It's not for every single pre-order out there, but it is for some of the more mainline titles. Like, Pokemon has the $10 off. So I might just hop in and get the new Pokemon game that's coming out in November. Because I've been off that wagon for a while, and I kind of miss it.
The thing about me and Pokemon is that I feel like all the new ones have, like, off-the-wall names because they're running out of names.
A little bit. Because,
like, you're not going to beat, like, Charizard as an example. Like, it's like it's
The
so
Charizard.
yeah, it's so what it is, and now it's like Polynumicon or whatever the fuck is some
It's a new metalcore band.
Yeah, sure.
Anyway, moving on. So Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo are all kind of pushing for loot box odds disclosures.
Yep.
From these big games like from EA and Blizzard and all that stuff. So first of all, I want to throw these guys out there.
Surprised you didn't throw Activision's name in there.
Yeah, Activision, right? But I want to throw the developers from Smite behind there. What studio is it?
High Res.
High Res Studio. I always forget. I'm sorry, guys. At High Res, we love you.
Yeah. How many
Sometimes
hours have
I
you been
forget.
playing Smite in your life? Probably.
Not recent. Not
Yeah.
anytime recently, but I think I have 100 hours in Smite. Maybe.
Yeah, probably.
Anyway, they do it off the bat, so they've just kind of been doing this, and now your big three are saying everybody has to do this, or they're pushing for it at least.
It's the morally correct choice for these game developers
Because
to do that.
if you have odds, right? Because I mean, you can even find odds at any casino game you play. But if you don't have odds in a loot box system, what are your chances? Would you be less inclined to buy something if it showed you that you have a 1 in 600 chance of getting that item?
Yeah,
I'd be hella discouraged.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. Yeah, I remember when Advanced Warfare came out, and or even to a bigger extent, the CS:GO cases where people are just fucking spending
Money.
absurd amount of money.
Well, here's the thing with CS:GO, you can make your money back.
Yeah, that's true.
You could make your money back tenfold because if you pull
something rare,
some crazy ass camo,
and
sell it, and now you've made money.
Well, yeah, but that's kind of gross too. I mean, it doesn't make it any less gross to
and
me.
that's its own kind of economic CS:GO problem.
Yeah,
right. But that's a whole different story. That Diablo have its own economics, blah blah blah. What do you think of this move, man?
like I said, I think it was the ethical choice to make for these guys.
It's a step in the right direction.
Yeah. Because it's getting out of hand. Let's be real. It's getting completely out of hand. We're starting to lose control of these things, and
you pay for 30% of the game and everything else isn't even DLC now. It's all microtransactions.
Yeah.
So sometimes you'll get a chunk of DLC. Other times you won't get shit.
Yeah.
Or even worse, you'll get a duplicate of the same piece of DLC you got last week.
And get digital currency that you can't even trade back for.
Welcome to 2019, folks.
Yeah. I feel like every week is a new thing from these
Loot box from these shitheads.
From these fucking guys.
It's real unfortunate, but like I said, I do think that we're making strides towards setting some sort of precedent and setting some sort of standard that says, hey, if you want to fucking do this, you need to follow A, B, C, D, E, F, and G.
You know what? A thing that I was thinking about the other day, because obviously EA being kind of the spearheading the whole loot box thing and taking advantage of people like that. I remember back in the day when I would play Madden, you can create your own team just as a feature in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And if you wanted to play against your friend, you can do that, no problem. But now they have found a way to take that, break it up, and sell every individual player. Like, you could pick players from any team that you want. Get your own.
Hey, here's a hot idea. In order to buy loot boxes, you got to register your PSN account or Xbox account, whatever the fuck it is, with a valid driver's license or state ID.
Yeah.
So they know you're of age.
Yeah, this is true.
Oh, now that's a hot take.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm not with that. I'm with that. I think that'll work.
Now that's a hot take. Because figure, what, if you're 18, you're working for your money? Well, hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully. So you know the value of $1.
This is true.
Yeah, man. How many hours of shitty retail you got to work to buy 10 loot boxes?
20.
If it's any more than one, it's not worth it.
Yeah, this is true. But yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man. So that's some hot takes.
Yeah.
That
but
was some egregious. I feel like we've been talking about loot boxes for like the past 6 weeks now.
That's what I'm saying, man. Every week is fucking something new. But
so,
ta-da. Whoa.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead.
I want to present this because this is
fire away.
The much anticipated 2 years too late, but I'm still looking forward to review. Gabe's review of Breath of the Wild. Gabe, how'd it go?
Okay, let's talk. So you're absolutely right. This is 2 years too late, and I finished it. I finished it on Friday night. I spent 50 hours kind of meandering about. I don't want to make that sound like a bad thing. I spent 50 hours exploring the land of Hyrule through the various regions, fighting a variety of monsters and enemies, completing tasks, side quests, exploring the highest of mountains, sailing the fucking seas, and just doing whatever the fuck I wanted. First and foremost,
5 out of 10.
no, not by any means.
No, I'm just fucking with you.
I sent you a message that said, this is in my top 3 of games of all time.
Well, first I had to figure out what the fuck you were talking about. Then once you told me, explain to me.
So I want to kind of start off by saying the Legend of Zelda series is fucking awesome. And I think if you've never hopped on or if you've never been committed, I think this might be the perfect kind of place to start off on, because the Switch is readily accessible. You have 2 versions you could buy, and then you have the new revamped version with the better battery that they just dropped. They just dropped recently. But getting back to the Legend of Zelda, right? I've never played such a game that that welcomes you with open arms on such a scale where it's do whatever the fuck you want. You want to climb some mountains, go climb some mountains. You want to explore, you want to glide around, you want to fight some dudes that you don't have the armor and resources for. You want to get tubbished, you want to blah, blah, blah. You want to this and that. You want to find some secret chests. You want to find some shit that's like way overpowered and you're probably never going to find again. You want to do that. And it just says, go for it. Here's your hour-long tutorial of the basics of this game. And then do whatever the fuck you want. You find the regions throughout the map. And how that works is that there's a tower in the map, this big glowing fucking blue tower, and when you climb to the top of it, you put your Sheikah slate in there, which is like your companion thing, and it'll unlock the region map for you. And then from there you find all these shrines, and when you get 4 shrine tokens, you get another heart or some more stamina, and blah blah blah, and this and that and this and that. And I think the beauty of it is that it's there for everybody. Like, you're a casual Legend of Zelda fan, right? Like, we could have a Legend of Zelda talk, but if we wanted to do a deep dive into the lore, we'd have some trouble, and we'd have to go do our research. But it's just so, like I said, man, it's so welcoming. It says, yeah, come in and explore. Come in and have some fun. And it's just that, man. It's just the beauty of you're not bound down to doing one thing. I touched on the main quest when I first started the game, and then I left it alone for, I think, like 25 hours. I was like, fuck that. I'm going to go explore. I'm going to find this. I'm going to find that. And I went and I looked and I enjoyed. And that is the main attraction of this game. Mm-hmm. What else do I want to cover? The combat system is really interesting. So it's resource-based, right? And there's really one item that never breaks, which is your Master Sword. And you don't even get it till right before you finish the game. You got to get like 80% of the way through the game before you actually get it, or to a certain point, right?
That's bullshit.
I'm not going to ruin it. But I think it's something you got to work towards.
Okay.
And it makes sense. And so throughout the whole game, when you fight people with weapons and this and that, your weapons degrade and they eventually break. So now you have to have this constant onslaught or a steady stream of, hey, I need new weapons. Hey, I need this. Hey, I need that. I need a replacement for this, blah, blah, blah. Maybe you find something even stronger and you'll cherish that. Or maybe you'll find something weaker and now you got to deal with it. And it's really kind of intuitive, man. I don't want to say it's like the first time we've ever seen this, but I think it was implemented in such a manner where it keeps telling you, go out there and find new shit. Because if you stagnate for too long, you're going to degrade. And I think that is awesome.
Okay.
Visuals. You've seen this game. It's stunning.
Yeah, looks good.
I haven't had any major kind of issues with it on the Switch, probably because it was built for the Switch. Yay.
True.
So there's 4 major bosses. All of them were fun. All of them were, I don't want to say puzzle-based, but in order to get to the boss, you had to solve a shitload of puzzles. All 4 of those sets of puzzles were great. They were interactive, and so you were on this divine beast thing. One of them was like an eagle, and how the puzzle worked was that it's this whole labyrinth inside the eagle, and you could tilt the eagle 45 degrees that way, 45 degrees that way. And when you tilt it one way, doors open, things close, balls roll, and you need to solve these puzzles inside of the eagle and then tilt it back. And then you got to hit all these things in the eagle, and then finally when you hit all of them, the boss pops up, and you got to fuck him up. And it's just so, it invests you from the moment you get the glider to the moment you finish the game. You're invested in it. And I said that this, if we're looking objectively, is probably the best game I've played in the past decade.
Okay.
Subjectively, it's at number 3. But if we're looking objectively, yeah, I don't think anything has come close.
So what is it then? What's your top 3?
Well, Knights of the Old Republic.
Okay.
Jet Set Radio.
Okay.
And here's the thing with those two, because I said objectively, right? Those 2 games have flaws. They have their flaws, and they're kind of prominent. So one of these didn't age well. The other one has a lot of fatal mechanic issues, stuff like that. Breath of the Wild's pretty well balanced, man. I'm not going to say it's perfect. It's by no means a perfect game, but I think it was the perfect game for me.
Okay.
And I think that if you own a Nintendo Switch and you do not own a copy of Breath of the Wild, you need to go out there and get one, because this game is phenomenal. And they did a great job.
You are doing yourself a disservice by not having Breath of the Wild if you're a Switch user.
Yeah. So when you eventually get one, get yourself a copy.
Copy that.
Because you're going to get lost.
All right. Okay. Well, there you go. That's done. Gabe did it. He finally made it through, guys.
Yeah.
So what are you gonna do next? What's next on your agenda on the Switch?
Well, that Yu-Gi-Oh game comes out in like a week, so
Okay.
I think I might just hold down on Tetris 99 for a bit.
How's that?
It's great, man. It's free. That's the best part of it. It's so
FREE.
Here's the thing: once you get, because it's Battle Royale Tetris, and once you get past the first 50 players that get knocked out, the music speeds up and the tempo is faster. And I tell Maddie every time I get there, I was like, I'm having like legit like heart rate jumps. Like I could feel myself tensing up when the music gets faster.
It's doing his job, man. Can't be mad about it.
Don't fuck around.
You cannot fuck around. All right, so that was it. So I got 2 things on the Versus agenda this week, and now the Versus is a game that we used to play. It may be known as this or that because I think we called it that for a little bit too. But Versus is basically I bring 2 things to the table and we talk about which one we prefer and why. Now we could agree, we could disagree, we don't know. But I brought 2, okay? And I want your general opinion on it because, it's a philosophy thing. So we're going to do right now is the EPs, the battle of the EPs.
Mm-hmm.
Both Devil Wear Prada's themed EPs, okay?
Okay.
Now, I'm not saying which one you prefer. I'm saying which one do you think
is objectively better?
Fulfilled the objective of telling the story that they were trying to tell.
Oh,
go.
The goal is to identify which told the story better.
Yeah.
Okay, well, first we got to look at the issue that the Zombies EP tells one grand story.
Mm-hmm.
And we actually, fun fact, on our Zombies episode of the other podcast, we did a breakdown of your typical zombie story.
Shout out that full name for that damn podcast.
The Exploration Podcast.
Go.
Keep the lore in exploration. It's purposely misspelled for that. But the Zombies EP was one of the things I kind of looked at, and I said, well, shit, if we break down a zombie movie by these steps, the Zombie EP follows it perfectly.
Yep.
And that was kind of my model of inspiration. So I think the first big thing is Zombies EP tells one story. The Space EP is 5 different stories that loosely intertwine.
Mm-hmm.
And we haven't gotten confirmation from Mike Kranitsa yet, so I guess we're still on the fence about that.
Yeah.
Production values, one is a lot rougher and it fits the theme, and the other one is a lot cleaner and spacier and it fits the theme.
Yeah.
I think if we're looking specifically at the story, I think the Zombies story does it much better than the Space EP, because the Space EP has this kind of beautiful kind of wrap up with Asteroid, and it sets you full force into an homage to Ridley Scott's Alien, this and that, and they do a lot of cool kind of hat tips here and there, but you don't get a continuation and you don't get character development. You don't. Yeah, because you get character development in Zombies EP. But you know what I'm saying? You don't get closure, and the closure you do get is worldwide. And you know, why am I supposed to care? Whereas in Zombies, you follow the same set of characters through to the end.
Yeah.
And if you bought the record copy, you got a comic book with that.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the guys, the survivors, are the dudes in Devil Wears Prada.
Yeah.
Did I tell you how that ends, by the way?
No.
So the whole point of that mission is to upload some crazy piece of information to the internet so the last remaining people around the earth can get it. And so the comic book follows the Devil Wears Prada band members through it. And then at the end, you want to know what they fucking upload?
No.
This goddamn EP.
Bastards. They would.
Thanks, guys.
Self-indulging as fuck. Anyway.
So what's your opinion on that?
All right. Man, shit.
He's thinking.
Because if you ask me which one I prefer, I would prefer Space.
Sure.
However, I'm going to have to go with you on that one. As far as telling the story, because, because like you said, you could kind of piece together a story with what they give you in
Space EP.
the Space EP.
But you have to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You could talk about Elizabeth was just a girl and how she kind of wanted to do these things. But, that was like the first story. And then the asteroid at the end where it hits the Earth and it's kind of the end of all things. But that's okay, kind of a situation. Well, you go through kind of the all emotions that you get when the zombie EP, zombie apocalypse is going to happen, because it is going to happen. You kind of go through all those things and kind of the fight of it all. I don't know. Yeah, I would have to agree with you.
I mean, because, if we look at it, there's a lot of ways to look at it. And I think a lot of the times it depends on my mood.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I'll want to kick down some drywall and I'll be like, Zombies EP, let's go.
Yeah.
And other times I want to kind of relax and listen to something a lot cleaner in production, a lot more creative, and a lot of cool shit intertwined with it. And I'll go Space EP.
Yeah.
But story-wise, I think Zombies does it, man.
Okay, excellent.
So yeah, they got to go upload their EP.
Yeah.
God damn it. I read that with like page to page. I was just glued to it.
Yeah.
And at the last page, I was like, are you fucking serious? They had to upload their own EP?
That's fucking
Like,
sick.
hey guys, I know everybody's dying right now, but check this shit out. It's so rad. We gotta break down the power of the bullet.
Oh man, that's so good. All right, so I got another one. Which one of these movies in this story franchise, best breaks down James Bond as a character, like reason his philosophy, how he thinks? Is it Casino Royale or Skyfall?
Skyfall.
Skyfall does?
Skyfall, are you kidding me? It takes everything you've known and loved about James Bond, everything you're expected to know, everything that here are my standards for James Bond, and it breaks that. It breaks it down, tears down these fucking walls, and it shows Bond at his weakest point. The whole end fight was at Bond's old childhood house. And if you don't see the metaphors there at What's-Her-Face literally destroying who Bond is at his core by attacking his childhood memories, I think you misunderstood the movie.
Okay, fair enough.
Casino Royale did a good job of setup. It did a phenomenal job of setup. Skyfall is a literal deconstruction of everything that is James Bond.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think any movie's done it as well as Skyfall, if we're looking at that aspect.
Okay.
Cool. What'd you think?
I agree.
Yeah. Man, you set me up for...
Yeah. So, I just wanted to see where you stand now.
Cool. All right, let's get into music, because we got 2 albums and some extra goodies. Well, 3 albums, actually.
Breathe heavily. All right.
All right, Bad Omens. Let's get through this. Bad Omens album was good. It was a stray from the kind of metalcore-esque formula they placed there. They took some heavy inspiration from bands like Bring Me the Horizon and Sempiternal, and I like that. And they took the same approach the Plot in You did. However, the situation is very different because the Plot in You was mediocre metalcore, whereas these guys did some pretty fucking good metalcore, and it felt like Sempiternal Part 2. This one takes the Dispose approach that the Plot in You took. It's a lot more atmospheric. It's a lot bigger. It's this and that. It's kind of orchestrated, if that makes sense. And they do some weird vibey stuff in there that I like. However, I don't know if this album will make my top 5. It is a good album and is a good sophomore album from Bad Omens. Is it sophomore? Sophomore album. I think it's a good album from them. However, it's missing something. I can't put a finger on it, man. It's missing something.
Okay.
That's my review. I think the album is a solid 7. A very good 7. And I think it's there, and I think if you need something to jam to while you're waiting for your next big release, this is a good choice.
All right, so I'm gonna try to rapid fire my review like you just eloquently did. So, this album is a sophomore album in the sense that it does not quite capture my attention quite like the first one. Now, I'm not saying that's necessarily their fault because Jacob's growing up after a little bit. I think if I would listen to this album when I was 14, I would fucking love it.
Sure.
But the thing about this is that I can't tell which album they actually wanted to make because there's 2 different sounds that they are going for. There was that over-the-top aggressive sound that they have on some songs, and then there was this weird experimental kind of a vibe on some of the songs. And I'm not even saying those are bad. I'm saying that I feel like they wanted to make one particular album, and the other half is like, well, we got to make these albums because this is what people are expecting. I don't know which one is which. I can't tell which one they actually wanted to make. There are no tracks to me that stand out particularly, but there's no ones that are actually bad either. To me, it is a sophomore album in the sense it's probably continuing where it left off, and it doesn't really bring anything new to the table either. To me, it's a 6. It's a 6.
I think they're trying to capitalize on what they did so well in the first album that they maybe didn't know in which way to grow their sound. Mm-hmm. Because we've seen from bands that they take inspiration from, like Bring Me the Horizon, they've grown. Every single album, I say, it's Slipknot and Bring Me the Horizon. Every new album, everybody's worried. But we'll get into the Slipknot one in a bit and why we're not worried.
We'll get there, yeah.
But I think it was a solid attempt. I am not as invested in Bad Omens as I once was.
Yeah.
And now I guess we got to wait for the other 2 in our trifecta, huh?
I think
Northern Ghost and...
I think they kind of climbed down the ladder, so to speak.
That's fine, man. They still got a whole career ahead of them, and one bad album does not make a bad artist.
True.
So, I threw this on here because I thought it was super interesting. Do you remember watching Codename Kids Next Door? Do you remember that cartoon?
I do.
So Codename Kids
actually, let's not brush over that. It was a fucking fantastic cartoon.
No, it was an excellent cartoon.
Yeah, go ahead.
So they had these things that they dubbed like art expositions where they would kind of take inspiration from other styles of animation and other sources, and they would incorporate it. Then the Codename Kids Next Door, they had like an anime one, They had like a Gundam infused one. And the big one I remember was Food Fight. Do you remember the Food Fight one? Where it was 11 minutes of sheer fucking chaos with that pounding metal track behind it? You want to know who did that? GWAR.
No, they did
GWAR
not.
did that
You're
track.
a liar.
No, look it up. They did that fucking track. GWAR did that 11 minutes of sheer Food Fight chaos music.
No, they did.
They did.
You know, it's like this. Wow, that's awesome.
That's crazy, right?
It's kind of dope. I'm not gonna lie. It's almost as
What
dope.
are you known for? Intergalactic rights. And that one song from Codename Kids Next Door.
That's almost as dope as fucking the Pantera on the SpongeBob episode. That was pretty fucking metal, dude.
Nicktoons, Nickelodeon in that sense did something right, and Cartoon Network did a lot of things right back in the day. But yeah, that kind of came across. Nerdstalgic he does a whole series of videos on classic stuff like Drake and Josh, SpongeBob, this and that, and I highly recommend his channel because it gets me through my work day, man. It really does.
Nerdstalgic.
Nerdstalgic.
I have to look into
Check that out. One word. And he did a whole Codename Kids Next Door video, which was phenomenal by every degree and every means. And he's the one that pointed it out. He said GWAR did this.
That's fucking cool. Okay, did not.
Yeah, man.
Expect that at
Small
all.
world, huh?
All right, so let's talk about the.
You want to save this one for last?
We could do that. We could do that. So, the Degenerates Tour is coming out. It has A Day to Remember, I Prevail, and Beartooth in that order. Don't know why.
Question.
Why?
When's the last time you saw Beartooth open up for anyone ever? Probably not in the last 3 years, huh?
It's been a while. Yes. No. I'll tell you exactly when. Was when they opened up for August Burns Red. That was the last time I saw them open up for anybody. That was like probably 5-6 years ago at this point. But yeah, they're going out of tour. I think it's interesting. Why the fuck is Prevail over Beartooth? I'll never be able to tell you, but whatever.
Hey, man, do what you got to do. I think the lineup works, though, in regards to everybody's sound and stuff.
Sure.
And A Day to Remember is unfortunately playing a big fucking venue. There's this one year where they were going to Mojo's out in Joliet.
Yeah.
And we were like, we should go, but we ended up not going, and they haven't played anything of that size since. And I was like, fuck, I seriously regret not going. Yeah, we fucked up. Good stuff. What else we got on this kit? Die Hard is Murder.
Did you do it? Did you put this on here? Or did I put this on here?
I think you put this on here.
I didn't get to it, dude. I'm not.
You didn't get to it. All right, we'll get back to Die Hard is Murder next week. Did you get to Crystal Lake?
Yeah. So Crystal Lake. This is not so much a like an album review. It's more of a
overview.
Yeah, overview of the band as a whole. So Crystal Lake is this band out of Tokyo, Japan. They're doing, how to explain, kind of that chaotic metalcore stuff. If I had to pick a comp, it would be what's it called? Ocean's 8 Alaska.
Sure.
Kind of that genre of slightly overly chaotic metal.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why I checked them out is because they're on that North Lane bill, and I wanted to take a look.
You know what's funny? I told you to check out Crystal Lake, and you're like, yeah, man, they're all right. And I was like, yeah, dude, they're from Japan. And you're like, yeah, I can hear. That's how they move them tiny fingers across the fretboard real good like that because it's so small.
Yeah.
Shit.
So I gave them another look, and it's okay. I just wanted to bring it up because, like I said, it's kind of in that same vein as the Ocean 8 Alaska kind of vibe where it's kind of over the top. A little bit too much.
Busy music.
But I will say, I think vocally, that vocalist is way more talented than the guy from Ocean's 8 Alaska. So I'm watching them.
Yeah, man. Japan loves their hardcore music. They got a lot of up-and-coming hardcore bands out there, and hopefully we'll get to do some reviews soon.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Let's talk Erra, because you've been on that Erra.
Yeah.
You've been riding that.
Yeah.
Talk to me.
So Erra came out with a new single today. It's called I Have God, I Have a God, I For God, You're a God, I'm a God, he, she, it is a God. Hold on, sorry. I have God.
Oh, okay.
All right. Well, the first thing that caught my goddamn attention was the fucking beautiful artwork, because that is gorgeous. Listen to the track. It's good. I don't know if they got a new album coming out, because I think they just came out with one last year, no?
Maybe just like a post-single?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, they came out with Neon last year, which was pretty fucking good.
Yeah, it was good.
In retrospect. But yeah, I Have God is out, and it is a really good track with some good cleans. Good step forward for the band. I know they're also on that North Lane tour, which is why I'm going to go.
Good stuff. We need to see more bands step up their artwork game, because I don't particularly love this Erra artwork that came out with the single. However, it is still very good in retrospect to what we have currently in the scene. And I'd like to see a lot more love being put into artwork, because we see a lot of love put into music and to production and to this and that, but sometimes it feels like artwork gets thrown to the side.
Yes, sir. So before we dive deep on the next review, I'm actually going to have two for you next week. Sudden Sky by Crown the Empire. Well, actually three now. Sudden Sky by Crown the Empire. Broken in Refraction by Sanction. and Human Target by Thy Art Is Murder.
Busy
Yeah, I got three hot reviews coming at you guys next week. But with that being said, with hot reviews,
the long-awaited "We Are Not Your Kind," Slipknot's 6th studio album.
Yep.
Oh man, where to start? You want to go, or should I kind of rip at it? Or?
Yeah, let me get my. I actually took some brief notes on this as I was listening to it, because I was actually listening to it with my wife last night, and I'm going to talk about it. So, overall, I'm just going to throw that out there. I really, really, really enjoyed this album. Okay, but as I was looking at my notes, and a lot of them seems like I have a negative opinion on it, which I don't know why it came off that way, knowing how I feel about it.
Mm-hmm.
But I really enjoyed this album. So we're gonna kick off with the intro. I don't particularly care for the intro, really, in any way, shape, or form. Now, Slipknot is known for having their intros before the songs that tends to bleed into the first track, which works for me. Okay, I'm cool with an intro if it bleeds into the first track. This one doesn't really do that. Doesn't particularly bleed into the next track. And I think it's a little disjointed with that, kind of an intro to an album. I do like the vibe because it gives off that arcadey kind of a feel. It's called Insert Coin, so I think that's kind of the point.
Let's do this thing side by side. I think it has arguably the coolest name for any Slipknot intro track. I do not like it one bit.
You don't like it
I
either?
think it is the weakest Slipknot intro track.
Yeah.
I think even Prelude 3.0 was stronger than this. And that one was weird and out there and felt like some Hendrix shit.
What's the best one?
Off of Iowa. That one is really
515,
good.
yep.
Yeah, 515. They're doing that on the live set now, too. But yeah, it is arguably the weakest of the Slipknot intros, and I love the name. I thought the name was so damn cool and creative. Whatever. It's 40 seconds I could live with.
Yeah, so moving on, let me just pull out the track list. We have Unsainted, which obviously was a single we talked about before. I quite enjoyed it. I think you liked it quite a bit, too.
Yeah, it was properly vicious.
Next up, Birth of the Cruel. Kind of a more weird song in the mix, but I think it does the job. I think Slipknot has a variety of these type of songs on other albums, and this kind of fits that role.
This is that mid-tier transition
for
me, where where your songs line up, and this is about halfway through the list, where it's a solid attempt, but I don't hate it by any means.
Yeah, it's not like a standout, because I have some standouts coming down the fucking line in a minute, but not a bad song by any stretch of the imagination. So next up after that, Death Because of Death, and this is something that I wanted to talk about as well, because weird interludes. I have issues with interludes on albums when they don't bring anything to the table. This one did not bring anything to the table. It doesn't do anything in particular. There was really nothing special about it. The album
interlude because interlude.
Yeah, interlude because Slipknot tends to have these too. They did on a couple of actually.
The first mid-album interlude, I think this might be it.
Yeah.
At least while Corey was in the band. I don't know if Anders did any of that before Slipknot was Slipknot.
So it doesn't really bring anything to the table to me.
Whatever. That's another 40 seconds we could live with.
Yeah, well, that's why I was breaking down, because the album's 14 tracks long, but in actuality, it's like
12.
Yeah, like 12, because it doesn't really need to be there. But next up, Nero Forte. This is where the album starts to pick up some huge steam.
Let's talk about Nero Forte. You ever play Donkey Kong Country with the bongos?
Yeah.
Take that shit and wire that up to an amp and just go apeshit. Let your daughter go apeshit on those things. That's what Nero Forte feels like.
Yeah. I think I wrote down Volume 3 ? Because this was something that would be off of Volume 3. I feel like this is kind of, I don't know if this is what their goal was, but if their goal was to kind of bring together kind of like greatest hits, not so much in song type of like philosophy, I think they hit the mark on this, because like I said, this is very Volume 3-esque to me. All right. And I like this song quite a bit. It's fast paced. It's pretty intense, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. Also on this song, I think another note that I took is Craig, Is That You? Because I think this is like the very first Slipknot album where I have heard, without like really looking and trying to hear it, Craig actually be a contributing member to the band. I like Craig, Is That You? Because he actually has some very good.
Well, it's no longer him.
It's not Craig?
Well, it might have been on the album, but he's not with Slipknot anymore.
Craig is on the album.
Oh, Craig Owens.
Yeah.
I thought Chris.
No, Craig Jones. You keep on doing. Yeah, Craig Jones. But yeah, you're thinking about Chris. I'm like, yeah, Craig, is that you? And because all his weird little keyboard things I could actually hear for once. So yeah, it's not a bad thing. Something I had to know because I was confused. So Nero Forte, good album. But
Critical
next up,
Darling.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Next up is Critical Darling, and to me, this is the the standout track.
Take your favorite Slipknot song,
Yeah.
put it in a pan, simmer it over some oil, and dump a bucket of jalapenos on that bitch, because this shit is hot.
Yeah. So, Critical Darling is probably the best track on the album. And that's not saying that, anything else on this album was particularly bad, but this thing fucking brought the heat.
Yeah.
I was sitting there. I was like, I started to get teared up. I'm like, oh my God, Slipknot's back, guys.
What year is it?
Yeah. So, Critical Darling, that's probably the best song on the album.
Sure.
This thing packs heat.
I like this transition of these 3 and 4 songs, because I do like A Liar's Funeral as well.
Yeah.
I think this is a very good block, and I think the orientation of this and the positioning were pretty critical to get you through most of the album.
Yeah, because in the middle of this album, and this is something I wrote down too, in the middle of the album, it really picks up steam, like around this part of the album. I even include Red Flag on that list.
Yeah, I do as well.
Red Flag was pretty hot and heavy. Critical Darling is just it's like the penultimate, like the masterpiece on this album, because it's such a good song. Liar's Funeral, Slipknot has done these kind of slower tracks where it has kind of that intense kind of build, and this is a good song.
They do it well, and this is just a testament to that writing style.
Yeah, they know what they're doing, and Liar's Funeral is a good track in that regard. Red Flag also brings the heat, right? You just came off a curveball, and now you got a fucking breaking 99-mile-an-hour fastball coming right to your fucking head, and that's Red Flag. That's good stuff. All right, now this is where, to me, the album starts to grind to a little bit of a halt. Okay,
So you're getting red flags after red flag?
Yeah. What's Neck and Spiders and Orphan.
They're okay.
Yeah, they're all right. Spiders. Wait, hold on. There's another thing. Oops. Sorry. This is where the album starts to lose me just a little bit. All right, because I was like really fucking like paying attention real close after that little block, like you mentioned. All right. And this is where it starts to lose me a little bit. Spiders is an all right little track. I wasn't really feeling it in any particular way about it. Whatever. I mean, like I said, Slipknot does these weird things in every single album, right? And this is one of them. Orphan, didn't feel any particular way about it. And My Pain, I think My Pain was the song that had like a 2-minute like ambient noise, just for the sake of ambient noise. My Pain, like 2 minutes of ambient noise on My Pain. I don't feel any particular way about it, but I think it was a little unnecessary to have it go that long. But
whatever.
Yeah,
it's
whatever.
Slipknot. They can do whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah, and the last 2 tracks, Not Long for This World is a good song, real good song, and Soul Wave Earth, which we've talked about previously.
This is probably the first time I've ever commended Slipknot on having such a fucking phenomenal outro song, because what I noticed through this album, if you listen to Soul Wave Earth when it came out as a single, you heard that thing, that twang.
Yeah.
And this whole album sets you up for it. You hear bits and pieces. It's like leaves falling.
Yeah.
You have this picture of autumn in your mind, and you see the nice orange and yellow leaves falling, right? And through this album, it's transitioning you through the phases of summer. And so sometimes you'll see a leaf fall here and a leaf fall there.
Yeah.
And then when you get to Soul Wave Earth, you are balls deep into October, and you see it all on the ground. Okay. And I could not I don't know what that sound is. I don't know how they do it, but this whole album, you hear that little twang, and you hear it full force.
Do it again.
On Soul Wave Earth. You hear it full fucking force on there. And I thought that was awesome. And I think to have me sing praise about Slipknot's outro song, which usually doesn't fucking matter by the time you get there, right?
I don't know. ER was the first one. ER was the first closing song.
What was the closing song off of All Hope Is Gone?
All Hope Is Gone.
Oh, yeah. What about Volume 3?
Hold on. Volume 3 was Danger Keep Away, so that one's kind of true.
Yeah.
Iowa was Iowa, which we're not going to get into that.
Oh, man. Did you know Iowa is Sid screaming after he found out his grandpa died? They recorded that and slapped that in there?
No, they did not.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's fucking horrible.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
Why
They were
would you
doing a
wanna-
lot of fucking drugs during that album.
Well, I know that like that intro for Iowa, the 515 was like Corey cutting his wrist in the booth, and them just recording those noises.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ!
Welcome to Iowa, the most fucked up album ever recorded.
Those guys.
Anyway,
are out of their mind.
to kind of wrap up my thoughts about the Slipknot album, I hate to say it, but sometimes change is inevitable, and Slipknot put that to the test. I think that with the changes they took and 3 of the original members being gone at this point, I think they came back better than ever. We didn't like 0.5. That was probably I don't know. I'd say the weakest Slipknot album for me, honestly.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate because we had some weird shit going on with Volume 3. We had some interesting stuff in the middle of All Hope Is Gone. Whatever, right? Slipknot is Slipknot. But they took their 6 remaining members. They replaced the other 3, and they came back better than ever, man.
Yeah.
This feels, and, this is the alliteration I used the other week or so. Iowa feels like you're trying to down 40 cans of PBR and just get smashed.
Yeah.
This, We Are Not Your Kind, is you 15 years down the line sitting in a nice plush velvet chair enjoying some 20-year-old scotch.
Yep.
And getting to the same place just at your own pace.
Yeah, I like it, man.
It's very mature, and I give it an 8.
Yeah, I mean, shit. I'm trying to see where, like, this has been the best Slipknot album since, and I'm trying to think.
This has been the best Slipknot album since shit, man. I guess that really depended on where your starting point is.
Yeah.
This has been the best Slipknot album since All Hope Is Gone. True. This has been the best Slipknot album since Volume 3. Also true. Best Slipknot album since Iowa. Valid point. It just depends on how far back you want to go.
That's where I'm drawing the line is Iowa. Like, it's like, is it better than Volume 3? I don't know.
Yeah, but
I mean, I don't know. I mean,
you can't deny that they brought the barbells with them.
Yeah. This is been the most substantial Slipknot album that I've enjoyed the most since Iowa.
Okay,
that's
fair.
I like Volume 3. Volume 3 shows some interesting growth, and that's the funny thing about that. I'm gonna make a quick note about Volume 3 is because they went with Rick Rubin, right? And they swore that Rick Rubin didn't do shit. That he just kind of stood there, came in every now and then, listened to the album, and walked away, and then they didn't have any real guidance. Ironically, it was their most different and unique album at the time.
You don't need Rick Rubin to directly do anything. It's just his presence.
Yeah, because Slipknot was a band. I think at this point, if they were to work with Rick, it'd be completely different now. But Slipknot at the time was a band that required guidance. They needed to be told what to do.
Hey, stop doing drugs for 5 minutes.
Yeah. Need to be told what to do. And I think that's, like I said, I think it's ironic that their most probably unique as far as like experimentation was probably Volume 3 at the time. And it was like, I don't know. Anyway, this was a fantastic album. I'm going 9. I liked it maybe just a little bit more than you did because that middle section is just so good. It's so good. It's fucking Sonia's fucking back 1-2-1 combo. That's just like
and then EX on top.
Yeah,
of that,
fucking
yeah.
It's
So
actually
is
not
this
anymore.
your
'Cause
album?
they took it out.
Is this your album of the year? No. Okay, it's not mine either. I think it'll make the top 5.
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to be in the talks, but it's not. I like Northlane more.
That's fine. Northlane had a good album.
Yeah.
And we'll get around to that in December.
Yep.
But thank you for making Slipknot relevant again.
Thank God Slipknot is back on top because that shit was fucking hot.
Yeah, the kings of...
And they're playing tonight, actually.
Yeah, they are in Tinley Park tonight.
Yep, they are playing.
With Gojira, Volbeat, and... Behemoth.
Yep.
Oh, sweet. Polish death metal.
Yeah, right. So overall, I think you could both tell. I mean, Gabe quite enjoyed this album, and like I said, I find it funny how a couple weeks ago I'm like, man, this year is kind of disappointing, and over the last like 3 weeks, it's just like, holy shit,
An onslaught of music.
Yeah, some.
We're not done yet.
Yeah, onslaught, some good stuff. Like I said, I got some 3 albums.
Quick little bonus thing.
Sure.
You didn't bite the bait that I tossed you when I said finally. Devil Wears Prada teased the music video for something.
No, they did not.
Yeah, they did. They're in the week.
Well, you could.
When I said finally, I was waiting like an hour for a reply. And I was like, I guess I'll move on.
The thing is that I'm at work and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get back to him, and then I'm like teaching in class, and it's like 3 hours later. I'm like, well, I can't reply now.
Anyway, Devil Wears Prada tweeted out something, and ooh man, I'm hoping we get that album in like November.
I don't know, man.
We'll see.
You're cutting it close.
They threw it out there, and I guess the rest is on them. We can only build hype. They're the ones that drop it, right?
Yeah, this is true.
So they're doing something. Those chickens are up to something.
Well, I think we kind of figured they were up to something. It's
Those chickens are up to something.
Which,
that's from Chicken Run, by the way, the claymation movie where they make chicken pot pie and the chickens are like, oh. They're trying to escape.
Those are turkey noises.
Yeah. See. Yeah, I think on those turkey noises we should start wrapping this thing up.
Yeah. So you got nothing else to add?
No.
No. So with that being said, that was episode 128 of the Second City Kids podcast. We will see you here back next week for episode 129.
3 album reviews.
Yeah, with 3 album reviews minimum. And we're about a month away from the 4-year anniversary of this podcast. Gotta try to think of something special to do. You know what I should do? I'm not gonna do it, but what I should do is maybe pull up, download it, and then like commentate over how bad I was at this podcast when I first started it. We can make fun and talk shit about me. But anyway, with that being said, like I said, that was the Second City Kids podcast. We will see you back for next week. And until next time, folks, deuces. Thank you guys for joining us this week on the Second City Kids podcast. You can like us on iTunes, Google, anywhere else podcasts are found. Any comments, questions, or concern, you can email us at secondcitykids@gmail.com. Until next week, folks, deuces.